Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we're going over the Nashville Predators, who have had a very nice start to the 2021-22 campaign. The Nashville Predators right now are making headlines in the NHL to start off the new year here in 2022. They've kind of been a dark horse team throughout the end of 2021, throughout the first part of this season. But now, consistently through almost 40 games now, the Nashville Predators have been an extremely good hockey team that finds themselves right now at the top of the Central Division. So we'll be talking about what got them here, where they stand moving forward, where they've been the past couple years. We're going to go over all of that in today's video. So let's start off with the Nashville Predators. This is an organization that you could say predominantly in terms of being a successful franchise, in terms of a stability standpoint, the Predators are toward the top of that list. You look at really their last really little run here since the 2003-2004 season, the Predators have consistently made the playoffs. Now, those first couple seasons, they didn't make the playoffs very much, and quite frankly, that's because they were an expansion team. I don't expect that too much. But since 2004, the Predators have made the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times. And if you get into this season, that would be 15 seasons where the Predators made the playoffs and 3 seasons where they would not. So in a span of almost not even 20 years, the Predators would make the playoffs 15 times. That's a really good run. So you look at where they're at right now. Obviously, the big storyline is they are first in the Central Division right now. Now, there is a caveat to that. The Predators have played the most games out of the 3 teams right in their situation. So the Avalanche have only played 34 games. They're only a point back of the Predators. The St. Louis Blues have played 1 less game than the Preds. Again, 1 point back. And then everybody else, you have Minnesota, who has played 34 games. So you get the theme here. All these teams have played less games than the Predators, which is the only bad thing for Nashville. You look at their actual point percentage, it is not as good as the Avalanche, or even the Blues, or even the Wild for that matter. Technically, they would be third in their division. But again, based off of how things have played out in terms of games played and whatever, the Predators are still first in their division. Now, what got them here? Well, the Predators, there's a lot of different things you could look at for the Nashville Predators, which led them to where they are right now in the standings. I mean, the Nashville Predators have really, for the most part, this whole season, other than the first week of the year where they were kind of slow coming out of the gate. They lost their home opener to Seattle. They lost to Carolina. They lost to the Rangers, Winnipeg. They went on a little bit of a tailspin there. But then ever since that loss to Winnipeg, they had a big win in Minnesota, beat San Jose right before Halloween, beat the Islanders right before Halloween, and everything kind of fell back into place after that for the Predators. And you look at November, a pretty solid month for them. December, a really good month for the Nashville Predators. And now we get into January, and things kind of seem to be falling into place for the Preds going into the All-Star break, which is in the beginning of February. So the Nashville Predators right now, some of their key stats to really look at. Well, some of their key players. It's from the guys you would expect scoring for the Nashville Predators. The big boys are scoring, and that's been one of the biggest criticisms for the Predators over the last couple years. David Poile bringing in some big names. Matt Duchene, having Roman Josi as a leader, having guys like Mikael Granlund come in, Ryan Johansson, Philip Forsberg. Those guys struggled really last season and even the season prior in the first half of the season. And obviously the Predators went on a nice run in 2021 to sneak into the Stanley Cup playoffs, obviously on the back from their goaltender UC Saros. We'll get there in a minute. But Roman Josi right now leads the team in points. 38 points as a defenseman. The captain of the Predators is also in the conversation as an mid-season vote for a Norris Trophy, which is the best defenseman in the NHL. That's some pretty elite competition right there. Roman Josi has been extremely good for the Preds. And then the other guys, you got Matt Duchene with 34 points. That's not too bad. Mikael Granlund, Ryan Johansson, Philip Forsberg. Some guys maybe you didn't expect to see. Tanner Jeannot, Colton Sissons picking up points for the Preds. Luke Cunnin. You even seen a little bit of Eli Tolvanen picking up some points. He's got 13 points this season. So the Nashville Predators are getting some depth scoring, and they're getting their big scoring from the guys up top. And it's allowing them to actually have a pretty solid season. Not to mention their goaltender, UC Saros, who has been incredible. He's top 10 in both goals against and save percentage through almost halfway through the season here this year. You look at his goals against average, a 2.30. That's really solid. And you also have a save percentage of a 927, which is around average. But again, when the Predators are playing the way they are, that's not a bad stat for them to be in. You also look at their power play. They have the fourth best power play in the NHL, only behind the Edmonton Oilers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the St. Louis Blues. So the Nashville Predators have a lot of things going their way in that regard. They're doing great on the special teams. Their goaltender is extremely good. He has been now for almost 2 years, almost a year fully for UC Saros as the quote-unquote full-time starter now in Nashville, as he kind of took over from Pekka Rinne. And you have your goal scoring, and you have your great defenseman and your captain, Roman Josi. So the Predators, everything seems to be firing on all cylinders. Now, is that going to last all season? Probably not. But you look at the adversity that this team has already gone through. Like I said, the start of this season, they had 4 straight games postponed in the month of December, right around the Christmas break. So they actually, considering everything that was kind of not going right for them, they did really well. They only had 3 losses through the month of December. That's pretty impressive. Now again, they do have a lot of games they have to make up, and they're not going to be easy games. You have Calgary, who looks pretty solid right now. Carolina, they've been a pretty good team. Winnipeg, you might catch them on maybe on a little bit of a slide here, but Florida Panthers, 3 of those 4 teams are legit contenders to win their division. So the thought process here is those aren't going to be 3 easy wins. And obviously you have Dallas, who's kind of reeling. So 3 of those 5 postponed games in December that they have to make up, they are going to be difficult. And the good thing is, next week they play St. Louis, and then they have a homestand. They have Vancouver, Winnipeg, and Detroit. Those are all winnable games for the Predators. The Predators could be looking pretty nice going into the All-Star break, and they might still be able to keep their spot at the top of the Central Division. The Nashville Predators have been a great story, and in my honest opinion, I've not been a fan of the Predators. I think bringing in John Hines, taking over Peter Laviolette, that was quite the bold move by David Poile and management there in Nashville. But you can't deny the Predators are very successful this year, and you have to contribute at least a little bit of that to the coaching staff there with John Hines. But this is still a kind of a work in progress. They did re-sign Matthias Ekholm, but they still have some contracts they have to figure out. Philip Forsberg is a big pending unrestricted free agent this summer, so the Predators got to figure out what they're going to do moving forward. This is a situation where the Predators are going to go for it now, probably, and they might have to reevaluate this summer, which may come at the cost of losing Philip Forsberg. And then the question is, well, then who comes in to replace him? You've already lost Victor Arvidsson. You traded him out, last summer. You traded him to the LA Kings. Now you're losing Philip Forsberg. That's where you need to see some of the young guys, preferably a guy like Eli Tolvanen stepping up and jumping into the top 6 and being a legit forward in the top 6, a productive goal scorer for the Nashville Predators on a cheaper deal, maybe cheaper than Philip Forsberg, and finding a way to continue their success. Because quite honestly, I remember last year around this time, I was talking rebuild. We were looking at UC Saros has 1 year left. Matthias Ekholm has 2 years left at that point. And Philip Forsberg had 2 years left. And the Predators were considering blowing it up at that point. I remember the trade deadline in 2021. David Poile had been fielding offers for Forsberg and Ekholm and Saros and Rinne. He was looking at the market. But the problem is his team was doing too good and ultimately led to them making the playoffs, where he didn't end up doing that. But the Predators were very, very close to blowing that up. And now, look, they are now first in their Central Division. Now, like I said, that is a little bit, there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors in that, because if you look at the amount of games they played compared to the other teams right next to them, their competitors in their division, technically they wouldn't be first after an 82-game schedule was completed. But let me know what you guys think. In the comment section down below, what do you think of the Nashville Predators' early season success? Do you think this is sustainable? Do you think this is just going to be another first-round exit for the Predators? They make the playoffs, they're hot, but then they get beat up in the first round, and that's it. And we're back to square one next year. Let me know what you guys think. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.